correctly with the correct amount.
Ken Turta is the world-traveling audio engineer for Australian musician Xavier Rudd. He also brought the live concert sounds of Matthew Good Band, Strapping Young Lad, Biff Naggett, and many more. We have a featured artist for Hollywood Music TV Australia this year, Xavier Rudd. To check out Xavier Rudd's music and buy CDs, log on to myspace.com/Xavier Rudd or www.xavierrudd.com. Hi, Tina here, journalist for HMTV Canada Easing. With me today is a very special guest. Please welcome Kenneth Turta, live sound audio engineer for Xavier Rudd. Hi Ken, how are you?
I am good. And yourself?
Great. I'm surviving the ice storms up here today.
Ice storm. Crazy.
And you're going through a lot of snow in your area, I take it?
Yeah, well, today it's the first day of winter in Vancouver, which doesn't happen, so it is snowing like crazy.
Yeah, so the weather up here doesn't get too bad. It hasn't been really cold. Some of the months it gets down to like minus 18, and then that's when it's really cold, and that doesn't hit till about the middle of February.
I'm fortunate I'm not fortunate. I'm fortunate in a way of Christmas Day. I have to leave my family behind, but the other fortunate thing is I'm going to Australia to the warmth, and I think it's summertime there, so it'll be plus 40.
That's awesome. Okay, well, let's get started. What inspired you to become a live sound engineer?
To tell you the truth, the absolute 100%. My brother and I used to go to high school dances way back in the 70s and early 80s, and I was always fascinated. I used to go to dances early just to watch the band set up and see and all the equipment. It always fascinated me. And then one day on the way to school, my older brother was driving, and I was about 15 or 16, somewhere in there, and he's like, you know what I think the coolest job in the world would be? And I'm like, what? And he's like, I think to be a live sound guy, because you get to see everything. You don't have to, you know what I mean? It would be the best thing ever. And from that moment on, I've never had a regular job ever in my life. Yes, I made pizza. Yes, I worked at Bonanza. You know what I mean? But with the minute I left high school, it was on a tour bus with a band. Since I left high school, this is all I've done, you know? And what am I doing right now? I'm driving to the studio, mixing the brand new Xavier Rudd album, you know?
Awesome. Do you have any influences for this?
Influences would be an audio guy, a sound guy, way back, and apparently now he's a school teacher, but he was a guy named Mike Martin, and he used to be the sound man for a band called Kick-Axe. And I eventually, I toured with the band and whatnot and blah, 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 but this guy's sound was bigger than life. It was like, how is this possible? How can this all happen, you know? And since him, in influences and whatnot, him and the Master of Puppets album. First time I heard Master of Puppets by Metallica, it changed my life. I was like, how can this be? How can sound be created this big? I don't understand. And that would be two of the biggest influences in my life, you know?
Are there different aspects of audio engineering and disciplines that you need to be trained in for this field?
Well, the thing with live audio is it's like making a cup of tea, you know? Nobody makes the same cup of tea. Everyone likes something just a wee bit different, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I honestly, there's nothing I could change. The only thing I could change is I don't know enough, and I have to keep learning. And, unfortunately, I think when you practice something you love, you take that to the grave with you. Why didn't I know more, you know?
Are there very many vocal and instrumental elements combined that make up the technical aspects in the world of audio engineering?
I have to, actually, to tell you the truth, when it comes to mixing, it's like you have to go to food. You have to look at, to reference something would be like food. Okay, this dish would taste really good if it just had onions in it. Oh, this dish would just taste really good if it had that in it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that would be pretty much how, I could describe that question, because there's every day in audio is a new challenge and a new ideas, new things. Audio is not only about the sound guy; it's about the artist, and that is one thing you always have to remember. That at the end of the day, you're either the fourth member of the band, the fifth member of the band, or the sixth member of the band. You know what I mean? You're the last say that the crowd has. And what they do, you can't change. You can only live with it. And make it be the best it can be. And with live, when it comes to a live sound, you get one chance, one shot, 1, 2, 3, meet you at the end, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah, that would be my answer for that, if that made sense to you.
Yeah, it does make a little sense. How does gain structure work on a live mixing board in comparison to that of studio mixing?
Wow, now you're on the subject. Studio is gain structure especially. Gain structure in a studio, yes, you have to always keep that in mind. And gain structure is like building a building. With a weak foundation, the building will eventually fall. Build a strong foundation, meaning a clean gain structure, it's always going to survive. Now, how do you get there? Well, I find I'm also known in the world, around the world, as Kenny Clipper. And the reason for this is because I don't care if there's 50,000 people out there. I take the low end, and that's my building blocks, and build upwards. And the first thing, can the crowd feel it? Can they feel me? Can they feel what we're doing as a band and as everything? Now, then, and all this, just so you know, is happening within the first 30 seconds of a song, of the beginning of a festival, for example, because that's all you have. If you lose the crowd in that first 30 seconds, the show is, people are turning their backs and going to another stage. So, what needs to happen is, in the first 30 seconds of a song at a festival, you have to create a whole apartment complex so that everyone can enjoy everything and everyone is happy. And that's, gain structure. Gain structure is cleanliness. It's like having a clean apartment. It's like having if you don't have that, you have nothing. It's just, have you been to a concert where you really like the band, but the sound was so bad you had to leave, That's called gain structure. That's called, I don't know, if you love what you do, you'll never have that problem. And I find that, well, we all are humans as well. So having said that, everyone has a bad day. It's about being human. But gain structure, once again, is that's the key to live sound and the key to studio sound. It's -10. That's what it's called.
Okay.
-10 gain structure. Anything over that, you're in trouble.
All right.
It's where noise and all that comes in.
Can live sound mixing be a creative adventure when dealing with complex music production or last-minute changes?
Last-minute changes. That is a part of life, and it will never go away. For example, mixing this album, we're in Vancouver, and Xavier's in Australia, and it's never going to go away. That's just, you know what? If you want perfection, then you're in the wrong industry, because so many things, the variables are never, ever ending, and it will never change. And that this industry, music industry, is possibly the most inconsistent industry ever put out. For example, honey, I'll be home in 2 days. Oh, honey, sorry about that. It got extended 2 more weeks. It just doesn't happen. There's nothing, that I think is the most beautiful thing of the industry, because I don't think I could ever be a 9-to-5 guy. It's not in my blood. It's not. Anyone who chooses this and spends 26 years devoting their life to it, you roll the dice when you wake up in the morning. Okay, what am I looking at today? And getting back to the original question of variables and whatnot, yeah, that's, it's always going to happen. This industry, and I'm sure even yourself doing what you do, you realize that, wasn't I late yesterday by an hour? You know what I mean? It's just what happens. It's crazy, it's you can't predict it. You can't, some concerts are supposed to be only an hour and a half long. Next thing you know, well, where did 2 hours and 25 minutes just go? That would be called a good show,
Mm-hmm. So when you're dealing with a live recording, how do you make the tonal balance or perfect or dynamic?
That, to tell you the truth, is it's recorded. It goes onto a hard drive. Then you go in the studio and you spend hours and hours and hours. For example, Xavier Rudd, live in Brussels, it was an iTunes exclusive, sold only to iTunes and blah, blah, blah. So what we did is re-recorded in Brussels, and I had the hard drive with me for the rest of the tour. And when I went in the studio 3 weeks later, next thing you know, I'm throwing samples on, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And you do whatever it takes to make it sound like the most enjoyable concert. And you can't add in fake crowd noise, because I'm sorry, you can't. The minute you put that in, the show is lost. It's over. Don't even. If you have to add fake crowd noise, then I think you should record another night. But as far as, tonally, recording is a whole new ball of wax. You can do what you want, when you want, Once it's on tape or on hard drive nowadays, 90s, or hang on, 2000. Holy moly, aging myself. Everything's on a hard drive. Everything's on a computer, so you can do whatever you want. Endless limitations to make that the most enjoyable experience ever. You know, that's my approach to it, anyways.
All right.
Whatever it takes to make that night be how I felt it that night, to recreate that energy. I'll do with the recording whatever it takes to recreate that and make that happen.
So, what kind of processing devices do you have in your mixing rack for live sound when you do the concerts?
There's basically there's a few things that I travel with. One is two items from TC Electronics. One is it's called a D2. It's a digital delay, and the other one is an M1. It's a multi-effects unit, and it's got two engines in it. So it means even though there's two units, I can have 3 units. Another would be a German unit called an SPL Transient Designer, and that turns drums into God. You ever been at a concert and you're like, that kick drum is hurting my chest? That's what it does. It makes it like, wow, punch. And then I have to have 4 compressors with me. And the ones that I travel with are DBX because I don't choose them for tone. I choose them because when you fly from here to there and there to here and all over, they can be beating. And compressors are a very touchy unit. So I travel with also 4 DBX 160s.
Okay, so are these basically tools of your trade?
Tools of my trade?
Right.
Yeah.
Technically, how does an audio engineer need to have a solid understanding of software and hardware integration from synchronization to analog digital transfers?
Wow, now you're on a subject. I grew up in the analog world, and it all looks the same, it all does the same. And then the world of digital came in. And this is where at the beginning of the interview, I was saying, like, everyone, no matter what job you do, you go, if it's a job of passion and of love, you go to the grave trying to learn more. And that would be it. Digital. When the minute digital came in and I could store all my shows, fly from the UK back to Australia or back to Canada and have all my shows on a USB stick, it's incredible, But the first time I had to walk onto a digital console and do this, I was lost because this screen, this thing is trying to tell you how to do things and you're like, but it's numbers. And that's where you can't be, as a sound engineer, you can't trust numbers. You can't trust, you need to put your set list over the soundboard, over the computer screen, and just go off old school, as old school as it gets.
What are some of the challenges when working in an outdoor music festival with lots of more open space?
Do you want to know something from a sound engineer's point of view? Mm-hmm. It doesn't get easier because at an outdoor festival, there's no walls, there's no corners, there's no ceiling, there's no nothing. So it's just what you hear from the speakers is what you get. And if you don't know how to mix or you don't know sound, you're in trouble. But if you know and once again, you love your passion for your work, outdoor festivals are incredible. I much prefer outdoor festivals to 4 corners, 4 walls, because 4 walls have reflection. And in live sound, outdoors at a concert, there's no reflection, Mm-hmm. And the worst part, to actually properly answer, the worst part about being a live sound engineer at a festival is they stick you into these tents, the little tent that's in front of the stage.
Yep.
And there's all reflection in there because there's 4 walls once again. So you have to actually walk out every song. You have to walk out of there and listen and go, okay, there's not enough high end. There's too much high end. Every time you're in the tent, it's just, it's the worst part of being a live sound engineer would be having to be in the tent. If it's not going to rain and we're headlining, I usually make them tear the tent down because I want to hear what the crowd's hearing. I don't want to hear the four walls, or 3 walls technically, but yeah, that would be is having the tent around you to answer your question properly.
Okay. Now that you're working wonders and doing a lot of great events and concerts with Australian musician Xavier Rudd, can you tell us about this band?
About his sound?
Yes.
Oh, I got to tell you that this new album, and I'm really fortunate and gifted to be the one that gets to do it, but he has got the bass player and the drummer from Lucky Dubé, or another act they toured with is Eddie Grant, and it's 2 guys from South Africa, and this whole new sound that he's got, oh my God, it's huge. It's like I'm mixing the next Paul Simon's Graceland. It sounds like that. It's like all these insane harmonies and full, and it's incredible. I can't cannot begin to. We played in Toronto this past summer, and I think it's the Queen Elizabeth Theatre or something. We did 2 nights. It was, I think, I don't. It was in your exhibition ground somewhere there.
Okay.
This theater, and it went off.
Molson Amphitheater, perhaps?
It could be, yeah. It was really big, like thousands. You know, it was massive, and we did 2 nights there, and it was, oh my God, it was one of the most memorable shows of the summer. I have to say, it was playing in Toronto. It was incredible, and I think we're coming through in June or July this summer, and you need to give me all your contact details so I can put you on the guest list and you can come see.
Awesome, for sure.
Yeah, because it's incredible. This is honestly, if this doesn't hit, I don't know music then, you know?
It should. I really dig the Molson Amphitheater because I usually go there to watch all the concerts, and they serve beer right to your seat.
Oh, that is my kind of theater.
Yeah, for sure.
Beer right to the seat. Beer.
Yeah,
good.
they got waitress service, and they got all kinds of food courts there you can check out, and all kinds of little shops that you can just, go out there and shop around and check out. And you'd be there for hours trying to check everything out because they got some really cool stuff, these little shops.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's right on the lake too, so.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Right on.
Now, some of the other great bands that you work with are Matthew Good Band, and they've just received the Juno Award, Biff Naked, Strapping Young Lad, and many others. So, has it been an adventure for you?
You know, I'm really happy to be with Xavier for as long as I am because, I've been with Headley, I've been with, you name it, all of them, and in fact, I just got a phone call to do some Headley dates, but I can't because of the studio and whatnot, and another band, Favor Drive, I just got a phone call. Can you go out with them on New Year's? No, I can't. I'm in Australia, It's, I love what I do. And honestly, maybe I'm a rare person in the world, but as long as I get to work with music, that's all I care about, I love music so much. And it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter who the band is. It doesn't. Matthew Good, I could go off and tell you some things, but it's not fair to him and it's not fair to me. At the end of the day, he's a beautiful songwriter. He's a great human being, and God bless him, He's there's one artist right now that's really strong in my heart, and her name is Biff Naked. And I spent so much time touring the world with her, and the poor girl has cancer, and she's having a tough battle right now. And her new album is just so insane, And yeah, she's I really, my heart goes out to her. I wish her nothing but the best in the world, and that's what happens when you tour with these bands is you fall in love with the people. They become your family, your brothers, your sisters, your whatever, and it's tough. It's a tough life,
Yeah, sorry to hear that. I hope things get better for her.
Yeah, absolutely,
It always happens to the best of people.
Yeah,
It sucks. It really does
It
suck.
sucks.
Yeah.
It really does. You're absolutely right. It's craziness, but what can you do? The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh.
Yeah, I believe it.
You
So, out of all the places you traveled around the world, which is your favorite country you'd like to work in?
I gotta tell you, I love Europe. I gotta tell you, I love Japan and Asia. I gotta tell you, I love Australia. I gotta tell you, I love North America. It's so hard to put. I can't because I love Portugal. I'd have to say I love Portugal. I love the people there. They're just so beautiful, It's, they'll give you the shirt off your back. They're just so happy people. And it's the same everywhere in the world. Not to sound rough, but there's dickheads everywhere, And there's beautiful people everywhere. So, having said that, I have to say that just traveling the world and being able to have that gift is a great thing. And never, ever look a gift horse in the mouth. It's always respect. Today I'm in the UK. Okay, they got good fish and chips. Don't eat any of the local food other than that. Okay, tomorrow I'm in Spain. We're having a paella. You know what I mean? Okay, tomorrow we're in Germany. Okay, I'm having schnitzel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, when you're on these trips, do you keep a Twitter account where you're writing about your tour dialogues or anything like that?
Everyone, how football players have phobias. Everyone has phobias.
Yeah.
Mine is. I don't take pictures. I don't unless someone that I'm touring with sends me a picture or whatnot. Everything is in my brain, and one day maybe I'll write a book. Never know. But most of the time, yeah, I can't. I just have to be like telling stories like this. This to me is a lost art I find in the world, where sit around a campfire and tell the kids and whatnot about just talk for hours. Turn the TV off. Turn the radio off. No, don't turn the radio off. I need music. But You know what I'm saying? It's I don't document too much. Facebook. I'm on Facebook big time. So, but if you go to my Facebook, it's under Kenneth.
Okay.
Ken. It's under Kenneth Turta.
All right. Well, I was wondering because usually lots of people when they're traveling around the world, they'd like to a Twitter account. You can't really put too much in there, but you might have one highlight of the day that you want to post at the end of that day, something about the country or an event that just documents that entire.
Yeah. I some days I do, some days I don't. You know how Facebook you can do that? You can, you know?
Yeah.
I do that on Facebook sometimes. So that would be, if you wanted to check in and see what was going on, that would be the one place, you know?
Okay, all right. So what advices do you have for students entering into this type of work and wanting to start their own audio recording studio or business?
Don't expect the world. Don't expect things to come on a golden spoon. Don't expect things to just be there, you know? Some days it works, some days it doesn't work. Some days you're like, why the hell didn't I get into this? Some days, you know, you're like to be going, would you like fries with that? And then some days you can't say enough about how beautiful it is. So, you know, it's a crazy world.
All right.
You know, it's a good life. But getting back to another question of yours, where I was saying, like, you know, some days good, some days bad, some days, honey, I'm going to be home in 2 days. Then having to make a phone call going, yeah, I'm not going to be home. You know, there's no, anything you're going to do in this industry, always keep in mind that there's no, this life comes with no rules. Anything goes and everything goes. So, you know, today happy, tomorrow cry. Today live, tomorrow, you know, how am I putting a cheeseburger in my belly tomorrow? You know what I mean? It's crazy, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Ken, for this interview.
Oh, yeah. Out of all the interviews, your questions are very brilliant. You're asking great questions. You're doing a great job.
Awesome. Thank you. I also want to thank Willie Forrest for introducing you to our Easy. Horns high, you rock.
Willie Forrest is the man. Willie Forrest is one of the greatest audio engineers out there, just so you know. And he taught me a lot about sound. Taught me. He's a great, great audio engineer. And I've got nothing but compliments for that man. He is, he's lived, he's a great man, and he deserves the best. He's a great, great human being.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you.